Welcome back. In this video, we are going to work on the data manipulation part. So in the last video, we discussed about the data exploration part and we performed the univariate analysis on all of the variables there. We also found out that there were some variables which had missing values and a few of the variables had incorrect data types. Also, some categories in a few of our features had spelling errors. So all of this is what we are going to deal with in this video. So to start with, let us first drop any duplicates that we have in the dataset. So for that, we'll use the drop duplicate function. And here it returns me the complete data frame which I would have after the duplicate values are dropped. So if you see, the shape of this data frame remains unchanged. We have 7,109 rows and 19 columns. And that is because there were no duplicates in our data set. Now, right now, drop duplicates would drop a row only if all the columns of a particular row has the same value as some other row. Which means for this particular row, let's say 7103, if the ID, the area, the interior square feet, and all the variables are the same as some other row, which is let's say 7104, only then one of these two rows will be dropped. And usually by default, the first row is kept and the second row is dropped. Now we can make a change here. So if we look at the parameters, we can actually set a subset value, which means we can give in the subset. Let's say I set the subset to a variable area. So it will drop all the rows which have duplicate area values. So for example, we have row 0 with Karpakam and then again we have row 4. So out of these two, only the first one will be kept and the second one will be dropped. So if I run this, you can see that the area column has unique values for every row and all the duplicates were dropped. But this is not what we need right now. So by default, it is going to check the values for all the columns. And right now we do not have any duplicates. So if we check the shape, it would remain the same. Now note that using df.drop duplicates directly won't make any change in df. So even if I use the subset area here, although the shape for the new data frame would be 1719, but the original data frame remains the same. Now, if you actually want to make changes in the original data frame, you need to set this parameter in place is equal to true. When you do that, it will actually make the change in the original data frame df that we have. Since I have not set this value, there is no change in df, right? So we can verify this here. Now, since we do not have any duplicates, we'll move on to dealing with the missing values. Let's check what are the variables we have the missing values in. And we already know that we have 3 variables: bedroom, bathroom, and the QS overall, right? So we need to impute these missing values. Now, there are different ways to deal with missing values. The first and the easiest way would be to remove the rows which have the missing values, or to remove the columns itself which have the missing values. Another way is to impute the missing values using mean, median, or mode, depending on the column that you have. Followed by that, you can actually impute the missing values in a more smarter manner by using other independent variables. So taking help from other independent variables, we can impute the missing values. Let's see each of these one by one. So here I have df.dropNA, which will drop any rows which have missing values. Now if you check the shape, it comes out to be 7056 into 19. So we can see that almost 50 rows are removed from our data set. Now when you set axis is equal to 1, it will, instead of removing the rows, it will actually remove the columns. So now the number has reduced from 19 here to 16 in this case, because 3 columns had missing values, so those 3 columns are dropped. But using drop NA actually results in loss of information. So if you don't want to remove any rows or any columns from the data, you can actually impute the missing values. So let's start with our first variable, bedrooms. It had only one missing value, and I'm going to impute this missing value using the mode. So let's see what is the mode for this column. You can do this using the .mode function, and it comes out to be 1.0. So we are going to use the fillNA function here, and within the fillNA function, we have to give in the value using which we want to fill the missing value, right? So I have given the value to be the mode for this particular column, And here I've set in place is equal to true. This means that the change will be made or will be reflected in my original data frame df. Without setting this, it is just going to return you the complete data frame with the missing values imputed, but it will not make any changes in the original data frame. So let's run this cell. Now we won't have any missing value in the n bedroom column, and we'll check this at the end. Next we have the n bathrooms column. So in this case, I'm going to impute the missing value in bathroom based on the number of bedrooms the house has. So if the house has only one bedroom, I'm going to impute the missing value with 1. And if the bedroom has anything more than 1, then I'm going to impute the missing value for the bathroom to be 2. Right, because we saw that all the houses have either 1 or 2 bathrooms, so I'm not going to go more than that. And for this, I've written a for loop which goes from I to the length of the data frame, and it checks if the bathroom has a missing value or not. If is null is true, in that case, it will impute the missing value. Otherwise, the loop will just go and check the next value. And if this is true, then it will check the number of bedrooms. If it is 1, the bathroom is imputed as 1. If it is anything other than 1, then the bathroom is imputed as 2. Right, so let's run this cell. Let's first see if my .log and .isNull function is working fine. Right, so we have 5 values which have missing values, and when I run this, it's going to impute the missing values. Alright, moving on to the third variable that we have QS overall, which has missing values. So for this variable, I'm going to use the other variables, which is the quality score for room, bathroom and bedroom, to impute missing values. And let's just look at the head. So this looks like the QS overall is almost the average of these 3 variables, you can say. In fact, we can actually check this. So if I create a new variable temp which stores the average, these are the average values and these are the actual values for the quality score. So if you can see, we have 4.2 as the average for these 3, while the original value was 4.3, and similarly here it was 3.8 and it's given 3.7 and so on. So this looks like a good way to impute the missing values. So let's go ahead with that and we'll see how many missing values we have. So let's just print the shape here. This says that we have 48 missing values, right? So we are going to use a fillNA function and we are going to define our fillNA function on our own. Here we have the fillNA function. It will return me the average for rooms, bedrooms and bathrooms quality score whenever this function is called. Now I am going to use the .apply function here on my data frame. So for the column QS overall, we'll use the .apply function, and this is how we write the .apply function. Now it might look complicated, but look closely. We always define lambda x, and this .apply function will actually go through each row. So x every time will be one row at a time, right? So it will go through the first row and it will apply the fillNA function only if there is a missing value or only if this condition is true. Whenever this condition is not true, this will simply return the original value in QS overall. But whenever this condition is true, which means that there is a missing value in the variable QS overall, this function will be called, which we just defined. So just to summarize, .apply function goes through every row. Every row is taken as x, and for every row, it will call this function fillNA x if this condition is satisfied. Whenever this condition is not satisfied, the original value in QS overall is taken to be the final value, right? So let's define this function first and run this cell. And now let us check if there are any missing values. So we can see that there are no missing values in any of our data sets. So we have successfully imputed all the missing values. Now moving on to the data types. Here are the data types for all the variables, and we wanted to replace the data types in n bedroom and bathroom and n rooms because these are not float values or integer values. Let's put them as categories. So I can use .astype function for this, and I'll create a dictionary which takes in the column name and the data type. So here is the column name again and the data type. Now if you want to change the data type to integer, you can simply replace object with integer. Here as an example, I'm going to change the data type to object. So let's just run this cell. AS type is used to change the data types, right? And now we are going to fix the category names that we have. So for now, I'm creating a temporary list which has all the categorical variables. And here I want to print the value counts for all the categorical variables. Now this function is going to help me identify which of the variables do I need to replace the categories or correct the spellings in. So I can see that the value counts in area, we have 17 different categories wherein only 7 are unique. So this is the variable I need to work on. I'll make a note of that. Now n bedrooms, n bathroom and n rooms do not need any editing. Then again in sale condition, I have adjacent land, and here adjacent land with a space, and partial, the spelling has a mistake. It has double L and capital L here. So this needs editing. I'll store this and I'll note this down. And similarly, parking facility has 2 rows which have the spelling mistake. So you can identify which of the variables need the change, and here is the complete list. Now, in this video, I'm going to make changes in a few of the variables, and I'm going to leave the rest up to you as an exercise, so you can do that at your system. Right, so to start with the parking facility, we can simply use .replace function to replace any category, right? And I'm going to run this. So here I have .replace function. It will take in the category name that you want to replace and with what do you want to replace it. And since I'm setting in place is equal to true, this change will be reflected in my original data frame. So when I finally check the value counts, I can clearly see that it has only 2 categories. Now, similarly, we can do this for area. Now here we had only single category to replace. In this case, I have multiple categories and I am passing a dictionary here. So in the dictionaries, we have keys as the category which needs to be corrected. And here are the values which are the correct names for these categories. Right, so when I run this cell, and now if I look at the value counts, instead of 17, I can see only 7 unique categories in this variable. Similarly, I can repeat it for sales condition. I have replaced the incorrect spelling of partial with the correct spelling in both the cases here, and same for abnormal and adjacent lands. And we can see the corrected names here. Now we have done this for 3 categories, which is area, parking facility and sales condition. You can do it for the remaining 3 categories here. And in the next video, we are going to perform the bivariate analysis. Thank you.